We are live.
Good evening. My name is Maria Vasaki. I am the City of Brantford's Director of Communications and Community Engagement and Customer Service. Thank you very much to all the folks in the chamber this evening that are joining us for this public meeting, as well as the 10 people who have joined us online. Tonight's meeting is a hybrid meeting. So when we get to the point on the agenda where we do a question and answer session, I will facilitate that portion of the meeting and ask folks to take turns in the chamber here. And then I'll ask people online if they have any questions or comments they want to share with staff and the councillors this evening. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the Ward 2 councillors, Councillors John Sless and Councillor Gino Caputo.
Thanks, Maria. Typically when Councillor Caputo and I have ward meetings, I welcome everybody and he thanks everybody for coming, but that's a little later on. So I'll start it off and just say thanks for coming. It's bloody cold outside. Appreciate you coming out and weathering that. It's going to get better tomorrow. Tonight, I guess we're going to go through, Rob's going to make a presentation. Rob is the gentleman in the dark. And sorry, Rob, could you introduce your counterpart? Thank you, sir. They're going to do a presentation of the area and just let you know what they've identified. And I guess, well, I won't preempt you. I'll let you just do your thing when you get there, Rob. Basically, we're here to, as you can tell, you folks live in the area, equipment's moving in, so the bridge is going to be closed soon. That's going to change traffic patterns for sure. So we've had a look at that, I believe, and that'll probably be part of what Rob says. And other than that, the area has what's typically wrong with the rest of the city. Everybody's in a hurry to get to nowhere in particular, but they're in a big hurry to get there. So we'll discuss that and how maybe that could be controlled, or at least attempt to slow that down a little bit, because it's dangerous. And Parkside, as you enter, you all know is a hill, and that right away starts generating speed, and people just, by the time they get down to the bottom, they're not sure where they're going, and there's a stop sign, and like it's just not a good situation. So having said that, I'll turn it over to Rob. I think, as Maria said, Rob will make a presentation. At that point, when that's done, there'll be opportunity there. You can question anything he said. You can ask him questions that haven't been raised. Whatever's on your mind, that's why we're here. So don't feel intimidated because there's a few people in the room. That's fine. We're all here for the same reason. We just want to make it a little safer, a little better where we live. Okay, with that, Rob, if you want to start, that'd be great.
Thank you, Councillor Sless. Yes, so I'm Rob Smith. I'm the traffic safety supervisor for the city. And there's been a number of concerns in the neighborhood about speeding and pedestrian crossing safety. So because of the number of concerns, we wanted to just have a sit-down meeting and kind of go over the background and history of Parkside Drive, where we're at today. And I'm just going to high level go over the concerns that have been brought to my attention. And I've just got a few slides of what I'm suggesting as some possible solutions. And then I just want to have a discussion with everybody and kind of see where their thoughts are. And if there's any other suggestions, we can certainly have that discussion. So the meeting's more so existing conditions and issues we're experiencing on Parkside Drive, not so much about the detour from the Ava Bridge. I know there are concerns with that. We all have concerns with that. So I won't be able to answer too many questions about that detour. There was someone from engineering that was coming that hopefully they're just running late. And if they do show up, then we can certainly answer those questions as well. I'll do the best I can, but I'll just go through the presentation here and then we can have a discussion. So the City of Brantford's traffic calming policy was approved by City Council in 2005, and Parkside Drive was the first street that we reviewed following the new traffic calming policy. At that time, the majority of residents were concerned about speed that vehicles traveled on Parkside Drive. And there was also concerns about the high traffic volume and the need for safe interaction between vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists. And we all know that there's a lot of pedestrian and cyclist activity in the neighborhood with all the lovely trails along the Grand River. So the current traffic calming design was constructed in 2007 after a 2-year environmental assessment process. And we have a combination of median islands with some curb extensions. And then down at Riverview, we have the decorative crossing. So lately, some of the issues that have been raised are we continue to receive speeding concerns and lack of a protected pedestrian crossing on Parkside Drive all the way from Ava Road down to Preston Boulevard. The steep hill and the slippery conditions in the winter. Active transportation and like I mentioned, the trail access. There's a lot of residents in the neighborhood and from throughout the city that come to Parkside Drive and access the trails down the end of Dufferin Avenue there. And with the school and parent drop off, it gets kind of congested down at the Preston Parkside intersection. Occasionally we have heard that heavy trucks aren't following the truck route, which they should be traveling on St. Paul Avenue, but some get misguided following their GPS and end up going down Parkside Drive. As there's new development in the neighborhood down Grand River Ave and throughout the neighborhood, we're seeing an increase in traffic on Parkside. There was an issue with I think there was driveway construction at W. Ross McDonald last year, and vehicles were backing up onto Parkside Drive, causing some congestion at the top of the hill. And as I mentioned, a lot of new development in the neighborhood is increasing the traffic, and the future Ava Bridge reconstruction, and ultimately there will be an increase in traffic with detouring traffic. So there's obviously some concerns there as well. So just to kind of go over the existing conditions, Parkside Drive is a minor collector road, and its purpose is to connect the neighborhood to the arterial roads, which are Brant Avenue and Paris Road. There's sidewalk located on one side, which connects to trails, the parks and schools in the neighborhood. And it is identified as a cycling route in the active transportation master plan. So for discussion tonight, the city has been doing a lot of neighborhood reviews and implementing traffic calming throughout. Notably in the neighborhood was all the pedestrian crosswalks and raised crosswalks we implemented on Ava Road last year, which was quite successful. So we'd like to continue implementing that kind of features in the neighborhood. So one of the suggestions would be to implement an area speed limit of 40 kilometers an hour for all the residential streets in the neighborhood, and reducing the school zone speed limit to 30 kilometers an hour. Byline a community safety zone, which just adds emphasis to the passing motorist that it is an area of they need to take higher precaution because of the number of kids in the neighborhood with and trail users. One recommendation would be to bylaw and sign a pedestrian crossover at the intersection of Parkside Drive and Riverview. So that would look exactly like the crosswalks that we implemented on Ava Road, with the raised hump to slow traffic, as well as add a protected crossing for pedestrians. We can consider speed cushions at locations in the on Parkside Drive. I added Westmount Boulevard because back when we looked at traffic calming in 2005, 2007, there were some concerns from Westmount Boulevard residents that if we did traffic calming on Parkside Drive, there may be some traffic diversion to Westmount Boulevard. So we can certainly look at implementing some traffic calming features on Westmount Boulevard as well. And then I mentioned there was some congestion with vehicles stopping in the no parking zone at the top end of the street. So we were considering changing the no parking to no stopping on the call it south or west or east side of Parkside Drive, the school side of Parkside Drive. So this is just kind of an aerial photo, kind of visualizing what I just went over. So suggestion would be to sign the school zone as 30 kilometers an hour, put in a pedestrian crossover at Riverview, and as well as a raised crosswalk, some speed humps on Parkside Drive, and one set on Westmount Boulevard, and then the no stopping zone on the south side of Parkside Drive. So this is just a visual. This is a pedestrian crossover we installed on Johnson Road, which is exactly what we've installed on Aver Road. So you can see it's a bit of a raised hump, so it acts like a speed hump and also provides a safe crossing for pedestrians, which drivers are required to stop and allow pedestrians to fully cross the road before they can continue. And then this is just an example of a set of speed cushions on Johnson Road as well. So the next steps, after our discussion tonight, staff will go back and develop a set of recommendations that we will then present to the neighborhood, either through Let's Talk Brantford, or if there aren't too many, maybe just a notice to the neighborhood of what we're suggesting. And we'll get feedback again and ultimately prepare a report to the Vision Zero Road Safety Committee, which is basically just a committee that will then make recommendation to City Council for approval. And some of the easier things that just require signage changes, we can implement in 2024. And any more significant improvements like the raised crosswalks and speed cushions, we would have to request 2025 budget to implement next year. So that's basically my presentation. And if you want to come up to the delegation table and make comments, or my email address was briefly there. Councillor Caputo is raising his hand. Would you? Yeah. Sorry. Yep. I'm basically, that's my presentation. So I'm interested in hearing feedback from the neighborhood now.
So thank you very much. Have you had a chance to go down Aver Road and see the changes in there? So the response from the residents has been 100% tremendous. I mean, it's certainly slowed the traffic down completely. And I think what Mr. Smith is looking at doing here is putting those raised crosswalks, and it's there. One of the things I have for you, Rob, what would be the cost of putting in? So we're looking at probably putting in about 3 cushions between the top of wherever and to, I guess it would be Preston. Would that be the recommendation?
My thought would be 2 sets. So a raised crosswalk at Riverview and a set of speed cushions at the top of the hill. Because of the grade, it's not recommended that we do traffic calming features on the hill itself. So we would do it at the top and bottom of the hill.
So what would be the estimated cost of putting in 2 of these the speed cushions?
Yeah, probably about 10 grand.
You think there'd be an opportunity if Councillor Sless and I made a motion to see if we would be able to pull some of that out of reserve so we can get it done quicker than trying to put it into the 2025 budget?
That is certainly an option. Now, keep in mind, maybe I should backtrack a bit. As part of the Ava Bridge detour, the contractor has been asked to put in a temporary rubber speed cushion on Parkside Drive in the area. I think it's just south of Riverview. So maybe we have our own rubber traffic speed cushions. So that's an option too. We could put them in this year and then put in the permanent measures next year.
So that would be an option because we're coming out of winter now, and generally we want to take them out during the winter months for snowplow and everything else. So we could put those in.
So
what are the chances of putting a sign in on the top part at Aver Road, similar to the sign we just put up on Kent, which basically has a truck with a line through it, so that it kind of will deter any truck that's trying to make that turn down there?
I think
Because it certainly has had an effect on Kent Avenue, because we had some residents that were complaining that we had those trucks going into Food Basics turning down a residential street, where the truck entrance was actually on King George. So is that possible to put something there to at least become a deterrent to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of thought there was one there already, but if there isn't, we can certainly add it.
Okay, sorry, sorry, I'm going to interrupt here only because we've got 15 people that are joining us online. And if you don't come to the microphone, then they can't hear you and they'll message me and say, I can't hear what's happening. So if you could just come up to the table here and then everyone will hear what you're saying. Okay.
So
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
the no heavy truck signs are already at on Parkside Drive. So thank you, sir.
You just have to push the button here. There you go.
Got it. Elaine Sokolowski, Riverview Drive. The signs that we were just talking about already exist. I would like to ask also that there be signs posted once again. They used to exist, no longer do. That Riverview Drive is a dead end drive, so they aren't all coming down the street and turning around in my driveway. The pretend bump on Ava Road, the fake one that's just painted, can't cost that much money to install. And I would think if you put one of those somewhere on the hill on Parkside, it's a definite deterrent because even those of us that drive down Ava Road slow down for the fake bump because you think it's a real one. And can trucks, be charged? Can we set an example for a few people who are driving their trucks down the road that shouldn't be driving the trucks down the road?
So is it still a problem? I haven't heard too much lately. There's still tractor trailers going down Parkside Drive,
Yes,
like daily?
it makes it regularly enough that when you're pulling out from Riverview Drive, yes, it's a concern.
Yep, I can ask police to maybe do speed enforcement and truck enforcement at the same time.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks for your feedback. I'm going to go online now and thank you to Shannon who used the raised hand icon. So if anybody joining us online does want to ask a question or provide a comment, if you could use the raise hand icon and we'll just take turns here. So I'm going to start with Shannon. Go ahead, Shannon.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Actually
Thanks.
not. Okay, great. I'm not local. So I moved to the neighborhood 2 years ago. I actually live at 311 Dufferin Ave, which is part of the Dufferin extension, we'll call it, on the river. So I have 3 kids who attend Lansdowne. And I think Rob did a great job with really going over what the issues are. One of the things I would like to see would be a 4-way stop sign at Dufferin and Parkside. I'm not really sure why we don't have it there. And I think it would be a deterrent because what I see is a lot of the transport trucks coming from Hartman or FC Johnson or all those places because it's really just a throwaway there. They can really just go. And if it was me and I was driving a truck that size in a residential neighborhood that's older with smaller streets, I would also take that route. Also, I cross that street multiple times a day with my kids to take them to Lansdowne. And we are every single day, we are sprinting across that road. Not only that, it's a community access point to one of the things that I would say the city of Brantford on every single thing that the tourism and all that, they're advocating, come to here, Wilkes Dam, come use our trails, but we really can't provide safe access to that. The parking there is, if you go to the dam, there's a lack thereof. So people are parking around the neighborhood, which is fine and that's great. However, we're not providing them with a safe access point to cross Parkside, right? And I really just think we have the park there, which people are utilizing. We have kids there who utilize the park. We have adults there who utilize the park. The elderly who utilize the park, but they are sprinting across the road. And I think it's really great that we have all these new homes there. And infill, as you know, with the housing crisis is wonderful. However, there's no sidewalks on either side. So now those people are also sprinting across the road. So if we install the stop sign, we really are slowing down the traffic and also hopefully having those trucks and all that stuff from the industrial area, not having this large thoroughway of road where there's only one stop sign, really, Preston and Dufferin.
Thanks for that, Shannon. In case you didn't see, there are a lot of people in the chamber here that are nodding when you were speaking. So Rob, did you want to respond?
Yeah, I was just going to say that you raised some very good points. So I appreciate that. And we'll certainly look at that intersection. So thank you.
And I just actually have one more question. I know engineering is not actually there, but just if you're coming from Dufferin and you're going to cross Parkside, say if you're coming from Lansdowne, we're using Dufferin, and then you need to cross Parkside. What's it, and I know I think you utilize GIS software. It would be interesting if you could also know if they could look at the visibility triangle there, because I really think there is a blind spot if you're crossing that road. And I would say 2, 3, 4 times a week, I'm seeing cars that start to cross that road and then they jam on their brakes just because the visibility is not there. So I am curious to see what engineering has to say about that. And it's a very easy thing to look at, just an aerial view. Because to me, it might just seem like something's not right there. And I also think that that's something like implementing a stop sign might be sooner than later, because I know for a fact that there will be an accident there, or a child hit by a car, or an elderly person hit by a car, or someone, and it is such an issue. That, and I know we're talking about more of the hill, but like I just think it really is all connected, and we have a growing neighborhood, an older neighborhood with narrower streets, and I really think we need to look at putting a stop sign there when you have one of Brantford's biggest, attractions for the trails. And we're advertising it, and we're saying all this stuff, but we're really not providing anything there. So I really, really hope that this is looked at in a serious way, and that we are actually going to put in this 4-way stop sign, because this is a growing neighborhood. We're turning over from the older people, and the younger families are moving in there, and we're not being able to provide them with the adequate way of crossing this road. And I really just think we're failing.
Sorry, just for clarification, the blind spot is when you're on Dufferin Avenue trying to turn onto Parkside?
Nope, just crossing Parkside from Dufferin to Dufferin.
Okay.
So
All right, we'll check it out. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, is there anybody in the room that wanted to come up and ask a question or provide any feedback? Yes, come on forward.
So what button do I? Okay, we live on the lower portion of Parkside. From the stop sign down, that is where a lot of the speeding really occurs. Once people come around that curve, it's just kaboom. I know you're talking about putting a little bit of speed cushion at the top, but would you consider putting it at the bottom as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're here for feedback. So
Yeah.
we can look at the speeds in that section and certainly consider that.
And another point I'd want to make is I think Lancaster Construction is where the old brickyard used to be now.
Yep.
It's still there.
Which?
Their trucks use
Lancaster,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gonna go online now to Austin. Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, so I'm newer to the neighborhood. About 2 years now. I'm just curious if we can look into the redesign of these speed humps so they're not so aggressive. I'm from the car community, obviously, so we have some quite low cars. Now I'm feeling like I'm kind of getting boxed in here because I have to stop to do like maybe 5 and 10, and I can't get over the things half the time. And with that, there's quite a bit of risk. I've almost been rear-ended numerous times at these speed humps. They're just too big.
Thanks, Austin.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
Yeah.
respond, Rob?
Well, we use the Transportation Association of Canada standard design for speed cushions, and the problem, if you make them less aggressive, they're less effective. So when you make compromises, and we made compromises with the traffic calming design we implemented in 2007, and as we're here again tonight because obviously that's not as effective as we had hoped. So I'm kind of hesitant to make changes to the standard design because then it's just gonna lose its effectiveness.
Well, have you ever drove down Ava at all? Just out of curiousness here.
Yes, I have.
Have you hit one of those at 40?
No, the intention is to slow down. That's why they're there, to slow people down.
No, I'm aware, but we can't hit it at 10 because people don't slow down. So I understand it's less effective, but for like even our safety in the car community, like my whole neighborhood knows about all the car shows we do on our road in the summer and everything. And none of us can get out that way now. So it's like there's got to be some compromise at some sort. I completely understand that it's supposed to slow traffic, but when people that live here and reside here, we can't even get out because our cars won't clear them. What are we supposed to do?
So you have a modified vehicle? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, within the law, I follow all the stipulations on a gray line.
Okay.
2 inches lowered, which is the legal limit, will not clear those speed humps. I had to jack my car back up.
Okay.
But we have some classic cars in the summer that come down, and none of us can go down Ava or come in through like by the train tracks there and go down Ava to Parkside. Like it's and if we add more down, I think it's Parkside there. Nobody's gonna be able to get my house. I live right on that bend onto Wilkes.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just food for thought. Like we have Lamborghinis that come down too in the summer that literally can't even get onto them.
Okay, thanks, Austin. Yep, come on.
There we go. Hi, I'm Amy. I'm from Parkside. I'd like to offer the opposing viewpoint to that. I think my son is more important than a Lamborghini. And I really wish that, thank you. And I really wish that we looked at people in more importance than cars. No offense, Austin. I'm sure your car is beautiful. I also wanted to offer a viewpoint on the painted crosswalk that the lady recommended before me. I love that idea. And I also wanted to say that the speed bump on Parkside is really important. We used to have a flashing sign for a short period of time that showed your speed. And I felt like when that sign was up, we could see the improvement in people actually slowing down. So if there was a way to actually measure how fast you're going, I think that would be really helpful too. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else online who wants to ask a question or provide a comment? Okay, we've got okay, I'm going to ask for anybody who hasn't spoken yet if they want to provide a question or a comment.
Maria, we have a gentleman ready to come up and ask a question.
Sure. Then I'll go back online.
Bill Baxter. I live on Westmount. We have been there since 1980, so our kids have grown up. I certainly agree with that idea of the speed camera to let people know, because over time, both on Westmount and particularly on Parkside, the speed has increased. I think these cars come down there at 80 and go up at 80 kilometers an hour. I have never measured it. I would like to see it. I think time is a little bit of the essence here, and I think things need to be done sooner rather than later, because there's kids going across that all the time. Friends on our street have young children, and they're really taking their life in their hands. Cars do not slow down. They are very fast, and it's going to be, I think there's going to be a serious accident there one of these days. So I think time is of the essence. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Mary Jane Edwards, I saw you had a raised hand icon. Did you want to make a comment? No? Okay. So we'll go back to Shannon.
I just wanted to add to, I think that's a great idea for people being able to see what their speed is, and it's a great deterrent. But I also just was wondering if the city would consider reaching out to the industrial, Hartman and SC Johnson, those areas who are receiving deliveries from the larger trucks, and just reminding them to remind their deliveries or whatever they're using those trucks for, that's really not the throwaway for them to go. And maybe a recommended route for those trucks.
Yep, I have residents that regularly email me, and the best thing is to note the trucking company name. And I can send them a kind of a form letter that has our truck route map attached to it. And so if you notice the same trucks going back and forth, you can just email me. My email address is rsmith, rsmith @brantford.ca. And it's a known issue in different neighborhoods when these truck drivers come from out of town and they're following their GPSs, and
Yeah.
quite often the shortest route is not the truck route, so they're just following their GPS and not paying attention to the sign.
Correct.
So
And I completely agree. So it could just be something as simple as just kind of like recommending this is the route you take, and then we really are just kind of solving one of those issues pretty
yep,
quickly.
exactly. Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon. I'm going to go back to the room. Yep.
Hi, my name is Chris. I recently moved to the neighborhood. I'm on Westmount Boulevard. I'm just wondering, you'd mentioned quick wins, Rob, for signage. Just curious, at that crosswalk that's existing that you installed in 2007, that's now pretty much faded. I'm wondering if it's possible to find funds to at least put a zebra crosswalk there painted and with the signage for, pedestrian crossing. Anecdotally, we use that crosswalk every day. My son just started JK at Lansdowne, and I'm finding it difficult to try and teach him the safe way to cross that intersection. Since there's no sidewalk on the one side, we have to cross that intersection there. So just wondering if it's possible. I know you've made the recommendation for potentially 2025, but I'm wondering if maybe we
Well,
could
it sounds like Councillor Caputo was hinting at doing something sooner than that.
Okay.
So
there was mention of the
that
speed
is an
humps,
option.
but I wasn't sure if it was in relation
That-
to that crosswalk as well.
The same.
All of it. Okay, great.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maria, can I cut in for a second?
Of course.
I'm just hearing these things, but there's a few things I think that have come up. One is Councilor Caputo and myself can look for money for Parkside. In the meantime, we're going into the construction on the bridge. If we could move in the temporary ones onto Westmount, and we'll find money to get the permanent ones put on Parkside, and that will get everybody going and ready for the construction, which is probably going to be a bit of a mess until everybody sorts out how to get to where. So I think that would help, and that's something that we can do fairly quickly. The other thing that I would suggest, I'm quite familiar with that crosswalk at the bottom of the hill. And if you're not familiar with it, it could be a bit of a problem. So could we look into electrifying that, where the kid can activate a light that'll flash and it'll bring attention. I know in Toronto, I think that's standard. There's always lighting. Sometimes it's even above the road, but if we even have them at the side, something that'll let the driver know that, yeah, you're supposed to do something here, and the big sign says stop. So I think that would be that would be something I think that would help. The other thing, I've had emails on the lower end of Parkside where the new construction is, where these folks live. In fact, a gentleman, I'm not sure, you could be the spouse, but a gentleman, Dennis, emailed me today outlining his concerns with that area. I think that's important that we don't lose sight of the fact that end has got problems too. And I'm not sure, I know the top end, I believe we can justify the 30 with the school zone being the blind school. How far can we go down Parkside before the other school kicks in? And how far down Parkside can we go with that? Okay.
I would
Would
The
go right to
30
Burwell Street?
30 would go to Dufferin at least, because that's beside the park. Typically, you do 30s by parks and schools, and then the rest of the neighborhood will be 40.
Okay. Right, but would it be possible to extend that to Burwell?
Oh, and yeah, I was forgetting that park on the bend there. So yeah, we could probably just.
I think that might help. For those that don't understand, when we declare it a school zone, it's a community safety zone, and if you get nicked in there, the fine is double. So it's a very good deterrent. And finally, the other thought I had, Rob, we have the blinking speed signs that will indicate what you're traveling, and we have them portable so that we can move them around. Would it be possible to get one in there as construction starts? I think that would be a good way to set the tone for what we're expecting in that area.
Yep, we had them on Parkside Drive before, so we can put. them
Okay,
back.
well, if we could arrange it that the timing is such that when they close the bridge down, it's sitting there. So that when people start using it, they get trained right from the get-go instead of trying to create a bad habit and then trying to correct it halfway through construction. If we could start out that way, I think that would be good.
We can certainly do that, yes.
Sorry for hogging the bend. Thank you.
Sure, you can come back up and then we'll go back to Austin online.
To the lower half of Parkside. In the summertime, kids go to the river. Kids go to the river and they line their inflatables on the boulevard, which is wonderful. And there could be inflatables all the way up to that end of 154 Parkside. So all the more important that you have those traffic controlling things on the lower part of Parkside. Because the summer is kind of, it's full of people, which is
So
good.
you're supporting the all-way stop at the intersection there, Dufferin and Parkside?
Yes, as well as the traffic calming
Speed
at our
control.
end.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, Austin, you've been waiting for the rebuttal, so here we go.
Yeah,
Go
so,
ahead. Yep.
yeah, I don't find this funny at all, but, I'm glad you guys do. It's not that I don't care about the kids. I 100% care about the kids, believe me. I help everybody on my block out all the time, all the elderly people, children, everything, okay? So I agree with the speed camera. I like that, idea. However, I think we should seriously consider these speed humps popping up all over, because again, like, I want to be able to leave my home too, right? So, and I understand cars aren't for everybody. I get that. I had a comment earlier about it, but it's our lifestyle too. We like to enjoy our lives and we like to be able to leave our house.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else in chambers that
Ignores me.
wants to make a comment or ask a question? Okay, go ahead, counselor, and then we'll go. Okay, come on up.
Amy Bender, and I live on Riverview Drive. I want to know, what is the purpose of the speed signs?
Which speed signs are you referring to?
Well, the speed limit signs on the road.
To show the posted speed limit.
And are people supposed to abide by that, or
Yep,
are they
that's the
not?
law.
I know, but how do you, because they're obviously not, right? So
Correct.
how do we get people? Is there a consequence for that, or?
Through enforcement.
Yeah, but how would they be there like 24 hours a day?
Yeah.
No, I just want to say that because you think there's a sign there that people are going to obey this speed limit, that doesn't
And that's why
happen.
we're
It's not
recommending
happening now. Now
traffic calming measures.
it's
as well.
40 now, but
Mhm.
it won't be. And also
You're
like.
correct, I'm with you. That's why we're here tonight, is to address the speeding.
Yeah,
concern.
exactly. So I understand the posted signage. I understand that, which people just ignore it because they see it every day and it's just like nothing. So, but it's definitely not working at all. And there is a risk, like I know people have mentioned about the downside of Parkside that goes around to Wilkes, I guess, or they speed up there too, speeding up there. Somebody called me last week and I told them all that. One day, somebody was coming down Parkside in the morning and it was like he was late for work. So, and I also want to know, has there been a speed study done?
Yes, there has.
And what did you find?
The 85th percentile, which is what 85% of the vehicles are traveling at or below was 58 kilometers an hour
And when was that done?
in the spring of 2023.
Okay, but now, they haven't done it now?
That's the same. It's comparable. Studies within the last 3 years
I
are
find it hard to
considered
believe,
acceptable.
so. I don't
You
think
find what
that's
hard to
right,
believe?
that the speed limit was what you're saying.
Okay,
So I think like, if you put the speed camera up, which does help, I think, to let you know what your speed is.
Yep.
And also maybe if you could put like, a traffic camera there even for tickets.
we're looking at implementing, it's called automated speed enforcement with cameras. That's something the city's looking into.
Yeah, because that would, definitely slow down with a warning sign, that would help.
Yes.
Because, like other people have mentioned, it's pretty treacherous down there.
Yep.
And I understand the people's concerns on Westmount as well, because it's kind of the same thing going down there, except that Parkside is more of a thoroughfare there.
Right.
Okay, so. And I also want to know why over the years, there's been this has been brought up so many times. Does nobody follow up to find out if it's effective or not?
The traffic calming has been effective, back in 2007,
Well,
the 85th
obviously-
percentile speed was
Obviously not, because
65.
I was just talking to someone who said they brought it up. And there was
Right.
things that were implemented, but I'm not sure, like, if you're following up on it to find out, is it working or not?
It has
Because
reduced.
like
the
now, all the things that you did then are not working. And I know they
speed.
put
And
that
that's why
island
we're
in
back
at one
here
time,
tonight.
but that island is all dismantled now.
Which
The island is all dismantled, the one in Parkside.
What do you mean by dismantled? It's.
Well, I mean, the way it was originally built. So it's deteriorated.
Okay, we'll
So,
check
but does
that
the
out.
city not keep an eye on that? to
Yep,
make
we have
sure
road
that it's-
patrollers that go around and check the.
Yeah,
condition
that's all
of
I
the
want to
roadway.
say is that I know there's a few people here that have brought this up many times.
Okay,
And it hasn't been dealt with or followed up.
okay.
And also like, if you have studies that prove like, one way or the other that, the speed, indicators work or the bumps work, like
Yep.
where's the research that shows it?
Shows what?
Shows that it improves and how long does it,
Well,
you have to follow up on these things. I mean,
you first have to contact me. So if you want
No.
information, you can contact
well, that's
me
up
and
to
I'll
the
provide
city
you
though
with the
to find
information.
out, to just drive down there and see.
See, if you want information, I can provide you with information. So you can email me and I will provide you with any
Because to leave it
information
from
that you
two
want.
thousand and five until now, and then it's out of control now.
Well, I'm responsible for the entire city, not just
Mhm.
Parkside Drive. So we've been doing studies.
Well, I
and
understand that,
Implementing
but-
projects throughout the city.
But there are certain areas that are priorities, and that would be one with the
And
blind.
that's why we're
school,
here
the
tonight. Yep.
School, the park, the dam, that's one of the major.
So what would you like to see happen on Parkside Drive? We're here for
I want to see people
discussion.
slow down.
That's,
I want to see the traffic slow down. That's my main concern.
Yep.
I can't even step down on the road because I'm for fear of, and I know they're not doing 50. They're certainly not doing 50 or 60.
so you're supportive of the traffic calming measures we've
Oh, yeah.
discussed tonight?
Oh, yeah,
Perfect.
for sure. But then again, you're going to find, as long as they're in the right place.
Yep.
Because, if you leave any stretches there, they're just, people just take advantage. So,
That's right.
and I didn't know about the trucks. I don't see too many trucks down there, but I'm sure there must be.
So if people see them, they can
Yeah,
report them to
exactly.
me and I'll
Yeah.
send them a notice.
Yeah, I just want to make sure though that there's follow-up, there's research, and that, people know that they're safe.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Caputo?
Thank you. So on the four-way stop, I've been in contact with Dave Ferguson, and we can pick up 3 signs right now at Balmoral and Kent from a three-way stop perspective, because there's another 3-way stop about 70 feet away. So if we could pick those up and do it, that's probably an instantaneous move without having any studies or anything done, Rob, because I'd really like to do something now than later, if possible. And I just had that with it. In respect to the question about, have some of the things that we've done, after having these meetings, we've been very successful on Ava Road. We've been very successful on Scarf Avenue, Scarf Avenue. That's one off of Brand Ave. Always mistake of Scarf Gardens. And we've done a lot of work there to try to calm the traffic down, as well as on Bedford and William Street. And all we get back from the community there is that everything is kind of really done. It's what we intended it to do. And really hoping that through discussion tonight, we actually will get the same response on both Parkside and Westmount. And I totally agree with Councilor Sless on what we're trying to do. Like, if we can do some of the things now while we got the bridge under construction, it's certainly going to be an impact. I think hopefully one day we get to a situation where we can do what they do in Europe. And if we're going to put these flashing speed limit type signs that come up, it triggers the light to turn red wherever you happen to be. So if you happen to be down St. Paul and you turn off of Brand Ave and you start doing 60 on a 40-kilometer zone, it triggers the light to turn red. So you're really only going from here to there before you have to stop anyway. But until that time, I don't think we're looking at putting up a flashing signal with your speed limit. I don't think we're going to traffic camera yet, because I think that has to be something that's decided amongst the whole city as to where they're going to go. And when that happens, because it is a costly venture, and we probably have to identify where the real areas are too, because it's not just Parkside. It could be on Gretzky. It could be on Brand Ave. It could be on Parish Road. It can be on Grand River. So we really have to look at that. But I think what we're going to accomplish here tonight is certainly going to make a positive impact on the area. So I really want everybody to know that as well. So,
Maria, if I could just, I think there's some confusion in the room. The traffic, I think they're calling them traffic cameras. I'm not sure what that is. We have speed indicators that
So-
tell
so
you, and
the-
they flash and they tell you what it is. Then we have photo radar, which is a totally different thing. That's where you drive through, the thing flashes and you get a ticket. Okay, the city's looking at those. They've done some preliminary work, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but they did, I think it was a 24-hour period on the lower end of Gretzky by Coburn Street. There was 16,000 infractions. Okay, and that was in a day, I believe.
There's quite a few. And we did another trial on Colburn Street by the Dairy Queen, and similar numbers out there. It was like,
But yeah, 16,000 infractions. So I don't know, there's people that are against photo radar, but from my perspective, if you're not breaking the law, they don't bother you. So just drive the speed limit and you don't have a problem. There's no issue with them if you're going to follow the rules. And that's all, that's what their intent is. They're not there as a teller machine. They're there as an enforcement issue. And we're just trying to keep the traffic slowed down. So I just wanted to, because I think people are confusing traffic cameras. That's not a camera that shows you your speed. That's simply a machine that picks up, it's like a radar thing. It picks up how fast that thing is coming at it, and it flashes that number so the person driving can see what it is. And that's all it does. It doesn't issue anything. It doesn't enforce anything. It just allows you to know what you're doing. And for a reasonable person, when they see it, they'll go, geez, I didn't realize I was going that fast, and they'll slow down. But if there's no enforcement mechanism, where the photo radar, there's definitely enforcement there, because it gets expensive.
Okay, is there anybody else in the room? I don't see any raised hands online. Yep, come on up, sir.
We're alive. I've lived on Parkside Drive for over 50 years. And recently our student population has increased, particularly at the north end of Parkside. We've talked about speeds going down the hill, but the speeds coming up the hill are a real problem as well. Are we talking about speed bumps being at the back of the room, I didn't hear what was being said.
Yes, the raised crosswalk and the speed cushions would go across the full width of the road, so it would slow uphill and downhill traffic.
In 2007, when the work was being done, we were beautifying the area by planting trees in the islands. Today, we have one tree left. As each year goes by, trees get knocked down by careless drivers. The stop sign gets knocked down. The caution signs around the islands get knocked down. I think it's a clear indication that something should be done and done very soon. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yep, sure.
My question is about the top end of Ava Road. When the construction begins on the bridge, or when the construction starts to happen at the lower end of Ava Road, will it still be accessible from Ava Road into Westmount or Parkside, or is that blocked?
At the beginning of the construction, it's my understanding that they have to do some water main underground utility work, which will close the top end of Parkside Drive for the first couple weeks. But once that work is done, you'll be able to go up Parkside Drive to Ava for the duration of the remaining of the work.
And will they be able to come off Ava Road and down Westmount at that point?
Yes, they'll have to go down Westmount.
Can we block that so they cannot?
No, because that's the only access to the neighborhood.
No, you can go north
Well, yes.
and out
but
to Hardy
that's-
Road and
That's
out.
an awfully long detour around. Like, I'm thinking emergency access also, you can't completely close off it's called the south end, because that would be a significant detour around for.
You're going to have a great deal of traffic, especially about 3:30 in the afternoon, peeling down that slowed traffic over the bumps
Right.
and
Well,
then turning down Westmount.
it's gonna be very inconvenient for all those vehicles you're talking about, the like shift workers out Hardy Road.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll be discouraged to go that way and they'll take Paris Road instead, because it's a very, I get your point. It's not ideal to have all that traffic going through the neighborhood, but unfortunately it's because of the closure, it's of a significant arterial road. There's not a lot of options with the Grand River blocking off like one side of the neighborhood, and the train track limits the access, and it's not a nice situation.
It's what happens when you live on both sides of the tracks, or did at one point. So the traffic would not, though, be able to come down and go straight through out onto Brand Ave,
Correct.
which may be a deterrent. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Austin has raised his hand again, so go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, so my question's more or less for winter maintenance with these new speed humps coming in. I don't know if any of you guys have like small compact cars or anything like that. Trying to get up Ava most winters is like very hard to do. So I see with adding speed humps where we have to slow down to cross over, I'm just wondering about the issues on being able to get up. My first year last year, I ended up getting stuck halfway into the middle of that hill, even with good winter tires, and had to be towed off. I'm just wondering if we can like up the maintenance of that hill if we're going to be adding these speed humps regardless.
You're talking the hill on Parkside Drive?
Yeah, going up. It's so long and so steep. It's just like if you have to stop halfway up, you're not getting up it with the ice.
Okay, I'll mention that to our winter maintenance crew. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Going once? Okay, I'll turn it back over to the counselors.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being here this evening. It's, you know, it's a lot to ask for people to come out to City Hall. I mean, we have to. And Rob, thank you for not adjusting my chair. But I do want to thank everybody for being here tonight, okay? I think it's very important what we're discussing here tonight. And again, we've had a lot of success doing this type of forum and getting feedback from everyone and understanding what the needs are of the community and how we can make things better. We can't speak to law enforcement for traffic because it's everywhere. I wish we had just one spot in the city saying these situations, but it's everywhere. And unfortunately, there's only so many police officers that can do it. We had a traffic calming meeting about Tollgate and Parish Road, and we put some radar on the police officers parked out there, and it certainly has had a huge effect. We've had to do it on the other corner. We're doing it on Seneca Boulevard to try to get everyone who's coming off of the 403 and not doing 100 kilometers an hour until they get to Hardy Road. So that avenue's looked at, and we're certainly, both Councillor Sless and I will be looking at police excess, be able to get down to those areas. But everything that's been said here tonight, I think is all going to come into fruition, and it certainly will be an assistance in order to make sure that your neighborhood is secure. If at any point in time you need to reach out to us, please, we're available by email. I always say that you can call us, and both Councillors last, we share the same number. So if you want, that certainly helps. But again, thank you very much. Thank you for staff for being here to answer everything that needed to be done. Thank you for those that joined in online. Have a wonderful evening. I'm sure you want to get home. The hockey game's on. The Islanders play at 8 o'clock. So I'm an Islander fan. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful night, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.